7. The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
Today in downtown Minneapolis, we kick off the 16th season of play in the WNBA, and we do it at the home of the defending champion, the Minnesota Lynx. Moments ago, they received their championship rings, fireworks inside the Target Center, and yes, they raised the 2011 banner, the first title in the history of the Minnesota Lynx, and they basically sailed through the season in the playoffs last year. Now their focus turns to 2012, and the Phoenix Mercury in town. They won a couple of titles as well in 2007 and 2009. Glad to have you with us here in Minneapolis. Terry Gannon along with the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe also with us. So last year, Minnesota 27-7. They sweep the finals. They raise the banner. And oh yes, they've got 5 starters back, and 4 of them are all-stars this year.
Yeah, we haven't seen a team back-to-back champions in 10 years since LA did it, but I think this Minnesota team is poised to repeat. You mentioned 4 all-stars back. They've got 9 of the players back. They're ready to go. They're healthy. Now they have championship experience. To me, this is a team without a weakness.
Cheryl Reeve, the biggest challenge maybe to keep them motivated, just trying to capture the chemistry and the magic that they had last year going after their first title. Check out the starting lineups today. And a surprise for the Phoenix Mercury. We expected Diana Taurasi to be in the lineup, but the star is out with an injury. Sammy Prahalis is the starting point guard. Big Ten Player of the Year, Prahalis at Ohio State. Tawana Bonner, 3 straight years as the 6th Woman of the Year in the league. Now gets the start. Sharday Houston, by the way, just got a ring. She was on the Minnesota Lynx last year. Lindsay Whalen, the point guard for the Lynx, along with Simone Augustus, Maya Moore, an all-star, Brunson, and Taj McWilliams-Franklin. But Diana Taurasi out. Holly Rowe now has more. Holly?
Well, Phoenix Sun star strained her left quad flexor muscle in a scrimmage earlier this week. I spoke with their athletic trainer, Tamara Poole, and she said, I just don't want to start our season injuring our best player. We're erring on the side of caution. Let her take her time to recover. So Sharday Houston will get the start. Their coach, Corey Gaines, said, I've been surprised at what a good scorer Sharday is in scrimmages. She'll have to pick up the slack for Diana Taurasi today against her former team she helped win a championship with last season.
Now, Holly, Sharday Houston was out at center court moments ago along with Alexis Hornbuckle. They came over in trades to Phoenix, and they were a part of that championship run last year. Michael Price, Cameron Inouye, and Lamont Simpson, the officiating crew, as we get underway in the Target Center in Minneapolis. Sammy Prahalis, the rookie out of Ohio State, gives it off to Houston. She gets the first jumper of the game, and Simone Augustus, the 7th-year veteran and the all-star last year, one of the stars in the league, handles it out front.
And I think the question for Minnesota after their season last year simply is, how hungry are they? They've got the same players back. Are they going to be able to come out with that same desire to win a championship?
Rebecca Brunson with the rebound gives them a fresh shot clock. And here's Lindsay Whalen back at home. She came back here to Minnesota, did wonderful things at the University of Minnesota. She's from Hutchinson, just about 70 miles from here, and now she's got a title. Augustus with the floater in the lane. Simone, the first overall pick back in 2006. Bonner, who's come off the bench and been a star off the bench the last several seasons with the miss. Sanford, the rebound for Hallis, tipped out of bounds.
Well, this is Tawana Bonner's opportunity with Penny Taylor out for the season with her ACL injury. I mean, Bonner, 3-time 6th Player of the Year. No other player won it multiple times because the following year they became a starter. Well, this is her opportunity to fill that role.
But if you're Corey Gaines, you love having that coming off the bench, and now you don't have that luxury. Sharday Houston, the 5th-year player out of UConn with the bucket. And it's a 3-2 game.
Well, when Diana Taurasi is healthy and back in the lineup, you would assume Sharday Houston will be that player coming in as the 6th player, trying to pick up with a scoring slack.
More than 10,000 people here at the Target Center for the home opener of the Lynx. Maya Moore, the #1 overall pick and the Rookie of the Year in the league last year. Here's what Cheryl Reeve had to say to her squad before the game.
It's our day. Go out there and have fun. Accept your rings. Glance at them. They're beautiful. Give big hugs to Glenn Taylor. Laurel Richie. Smile. soak it in, right? And let that get you, be that motivator. We want to do this again.
And the last thing she said was Maya Moore knocked down a 3 from the corner. But then they allow the layup, and we're tied up at 5. But that basically, I mean, she said, look, you can't recapture that energy, that chemistry. It has to happen. But they couldn't wait to see each other when they came in a week ago. Taj McWilliams-Franklin, the veteran at the age of 41 with a 15-foot jumper.
And there has to be a different intensity because teams will come at you differently. Your opponents will come at you differently because you are the defending champion.
Whalen runs it down. Here come the Lynx on the run. But you can't manufacture that. I mean, it's got to happen, and it did for them last year. And it was a first-time thing. I mean, you know, going after, they say, I don't know if it's true, but trying to stay at the top and repeat sometimes is harder than doing it the first time.
Well, when you look what Minnesota had and what they built here, a team that had not been to the playoffs in many years, just continued to struggle because of injury and other factors, and then to pretty much build that championship team from the ground, which is what a player like Simone Augustus did. It made last year so special.
Nakia Sanford, a 10th-year player out of Kansas. It's at a 7-7 game. How about Prahalis, who tries to stay with Whalen, gets caught on the screen out top. That's one of the things you have to learn, too. If you're a rookie in this league, the pick-and-roll game is a little different than it was in college. There goes Houston again, active offensively, and that's a 3.
Well, one thing that doesn't change for Phoenix, whether or not Taurasi's in the lineup, is they are a quick-shoot team. This is a team that wants a lot of possessions. They're going to go up and down the floor. Done a good job pushing the pace so far, getting to the offensive glass as well.
Averaged just under 90 points per game last year, which was actually a little low for them. But every year they lead the league in scoring. Put on the line, Augustus nails a jumper. It's a 1-point lead for Phoenix now.
I don't know how many players can do that, what Simone Augustus does so well, and that's just the crossover dribble, freezes her defender enough time to get off the jumper.
The finals MVP, Simone Augustus, who averaged 16 points per game during the regular season, but about 5 points better than that during the playoffs. Houston, who's looking to score just about every time down. That's a long 3 for Sharday Houston.
Sharday Houston is a very capable scorer. Her role on the Minnesota team the past couple years, because of the other players they brought in, just diminished. This will be a great opportunity for her to show all the things that she has in her offensive game.
Candace Dupree, their leading rebounder last year, starts the break. Prahalis tries to finish it, and the foul on McWilliams-Franklin. That's Samantha Prahalis, who was scheduled to wear number 7. She got number 99 she's wearing today. The beat of a different drummer, I think it applies to her.
Well, I think just the fact that she's wearing number 99 shows that she has the beat of a different drummer. But she's got a great balance and pace to her basketball game. I mean, she is one of those players who really looks to pass before she looks to score. Big Ten Player of the Year last year, her senior season out of Ohio State.
Led the Big Ten in assists, was second in scoring with wholesale substitutions now, which Cheryl Reeve told us she was going to do early in the game because she's not quite sure of their fitness overall as a team early in the season.
Well, she also said her Olympian. She's got 3 players on this team who will be playing for the Olympic team, and she said their legs are a little bit tired. The Olympic team convened last weekend and had a training camp, played a game against China, and so that's going to factor into this game here tonight just because of the fatigue that those players are feeling.
Jessica Adair. Strong move to the hoop, just came in off the bench and hits the bucket. Adair, the third-year player from George Washington. She's on along with Monica Wright from Virginia off the bench. Alexis Gray-Lawson with the miss. Cleared inside by McWilliams-Franklin. Taken away by Bonner. Great anticipation. Johnny Tamani just came in. Can't get the layup, and here comes Moore. Maya on the run. Crossover. Has numbers, 3-on-2, pulls up. Areas where she can improve this year, too. She was just getting accustomed to the professional game last year as a rookie, although she had a terrific season. Up and under move, Dupree with the bucket.
And for Maya, it's going to be about continuing to improve her defense. First of all, her one-on-one defense, and also just her poise and her comfort level of the new system that she's playing with Minnesota. But it'll be fun to see this year as the season goes on how much she has improved.
McWilliams-Franklin with the block, and here comes Wright. It's a different game, the college game of the program, and I know they It's trite to say, but on the WNBA level, it can be startling. Bucket and the foul. Maya Moore will go to the free throw line. So Maya, quick, along the baseline, beat Bonner, a very good defender, but Phoenix up by 3 early.
ESPN's presentation of the WNBA on ABC, brought to you by Boost Mobile, Be Heard, Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Mas, and the WNBA. Go to WNBA.com/live access and watch WNBA games live on your computer and mobile device.
Earlier today at the Target Center, Cheryl Reeve receiving your championship ring from Laurel Richie, the WNBA president. And then they raised the banner here, still celebrating at that point, but the focus moves on. We talked to Maya Moore about trying to repeat as champs.
I think this year is going to be a lot tougher just because that urgency of let's get our first one isn't there. So we're going to have to really come together and compete and find that within ourselves in a different way. And that's the beauty of sports is, you know, you get it one time and then the next year you get to try to do it again.
Most decorated college player ever, knows about championships. He won a couple of those at UConn. Full court pressure now from the Lynx, causing a turnover. So out of the timeout, Cheryl Reeve with the opportunity to change the defense. Wright operates inside. And doing much of this with the bench right now. Monica Wright, the fadeaway along the baseline. Wright, who averaged 5 points per game a year ago.
And I like the decision to extend the pressure out of the timeout. You've got the rookie point guard in Prahalis. Shake it up, give her a different look to go against.
Ray Lawson with the miss. Tamani threw it away. Moore thought about it. And there's that matchup too. Bonner on her again along the baseline. Left all alone is Wright. Miscued defensively.
Well, when we were watching Phoenix practice yesterday, they spent an inordinate amount of time, for Phoenix anyway, on working on defense and how to defend different pick and roll situations. And especially when you have young players on your team, that's very different from what the schemes they're used to doing in college.
Charlotte Houston really the only offensive threat so far for Phoenix. Rest of the team struggling from the floor. Whistle and a foul. It's going to go against the Mercury. Now coming up next, playoffs continue on ABC. The Heat needing a comeback, down 2-1 for the Indiana Pacers in what's been a really physical series. And then on ESPN2 Wednesday and the 13th, LA and Connecticut at 8 Eastern. NBA TV Saturday the 30th, Seattle at New York. Coverage kicking off at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Sparks are going to be a team to watch this year.
I'm eager to watch their progression. Candace Parker is back and healthy. That's been the big difference from season to season and how successful LA is going to be. Carol Ross, new coach there, bringing a whole different defensive mindset to that team.
Nneka Ogwumike, the real thing, coming out as the #1 overall pick.
Without question. She's a tremendous athlete who can really rebound the basketball.
Dupree, much needed bucket to stop that run, tied up at 18.
And she needs to get more touches. I mean, Phoenix likes to do the quick shot on the offensive end, but when they're struggling to score, Candace Dupree is that player inside who can get it done, get her the basketball.
Been consistent, too, as a part of that lineup. There's the steal. Ray Lawson head fake Wiggins in the air. No. Tipped out, Phoenix basketball, but Dupree just in the lineup every game. Candace, 134 straight starts, the longest active streak in the WNBA.
And an effective player, 54% from the field last season, second in the league in field goal percentage. She's just an efficient offensive scorer.
Houston, who's been red hot, 3 of 4 beyond the arc, misses short range this time. Augustus on the run. Wright just hit the deck hard. Simone. Here come the Mercury. Doesn't matter who's on the floor, whether it's Taurasi, as you mentioned, or Penny Taylor, who will be out for the year. We haven't really talked about her yet. Out with an ACL tear for the entire season. They're still going to go up and down 94 feet.
And Penny Taylor, one of the best players, without question, one of the best players in the world. She was just a terrific scorer. She can create, do so many things. She's a great facilitator. Look at the assists that she averaged last year. This is a huge miss for the Phoenix Mercury.
Was playing over in Turkey in the Turkish Pro League and tore the ACL in April, and will not only miss the season but also the Olympics for Australia. Loose ball foul called. Jessica Adair.
Phoenix doing a terrific job this first quarter getting to the offensive glass. When they haven't been able to score, they've gotten second opportunities. They're just attacking the glass, and it's been really important for them so far. 7 to Minnesota's 1.
Adair takes a seat. Corey Gaines, who played for Paul Westhead at Loyola Marymount and then was an assistant coach for him, certainly plays that style. So, look, I only know one way to coach. That's the way I like to play. That's the way I know, and we're going to stay with it no matter who's on the floor. And he won a title with it back in 2009. Although they have put a greater emphasis, and we were at practice yesterday, they spent a lot of time on the defensive end of the floor.
And again, I don't know if that's because they're putting more of an emphasis on defense or just because you have to teach so much more, especially to somebody like Sammy Prahalis at the point guard spot, because she will be involved in so many pick and rolls.
Brunson kept it alive, run down in the foul as Devereaux Peters, the rookie from Notre Dame, came up with it. It's going to go against Phoenix, the foul, and I believe Sanford. And it is her first. That's the thing that Cheryl Reeve doesn't have to worry at all about. She's got 9 returning players. You don't often go much deeper than that. They basically play 9 in this league. You have 11 on your roster. 2 of the players who she had last year are still here in the building for the opener. They're playing for Phoenix, but she's only added a couple of names.
Players who know her system, know her expectations. And we were talking with Corey Gaines about this yesterday. Players who have bought into her system and know that it works. And so when you have that trust level of all the players coming back to your team, it's so much easier to get your work done.
Foul on Lindsay Whalen, her first, giving it back to the Mercury. 5 turnovers by the Lynx so far in the first. There's the third by the Mercury.
But I like the idea. For Phoenix, you see the rookie come in. She's on Candace Dupree, get her the basketball and see what happens. That time she forced a turnover, but I think it's the right way to go.
Peters, the 3rd overall pick in the draft out of Notre Dame. Augustus, line drive, jumper from the corner. With Simone, so many aspects to her game. They're just getting better and better. Houston, foul in the bucket. She'll go to the free throw line. Aggressive on the offensive end.
Sharday Houston, coming out of the University of Connecticut, one of the questions people had about her game was her inconsistencies. Well, she's proven in the WNBA that she is a terrific offensive talent. And she's going to have the opportunity to showcase all of the things that she can do offensively with this Phoenix team.
Special moment for her, I'm sure, as Maya Moore comes back earlier today getting her ring. And an odd moment. I mean, now you come back as a member of the enemy, the other team, and you get out there being honored along with your teammates. She and Alexis Hornbuckle walking out as they were about to raise the banner today. Five-second difference, shot clock, game clock, as we wound out the opening quarter. Moore, everything at UConn, and in her first season wins a WNBA title and Rookie of the Year. And it's got to be odd for some of the Lynx players too to face 2 of their teammates and have them get the rings and the banner raised with them.
Because more likely they're your friends.
Right. Sanford with the miss, and that'll do it. So Cheryl Reeve and the Lynx open up 20 points, but they're tied. Candace Dupree doing the work at the other end for Phoenix, and Maya Moore doing everything for the Lynx. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
for Minnesota. Coach Corey Gaines, you have to start the game without superstar Diana Taurasi, but how do you like how other players are picking up that slack?
Well, I have to start the game without Penny Taylor and Diana Taurasi. No, I'm playing. They're playing well. You know, this is my rookie Sammy's first game. She's doing all right. I'm happy with her.
How do you describe the way you guys are keeping yourselves in this game with your offensive rebounding?
Well, you know, we're an up-tempo game, an up-tempo team. And right now, we haven't made the most points right now, but the tempo I like.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right, Holly, thank you. Here's what he likes, Rebecca. They've taken 10 more shots than the Minnesota Lynx. That's his style.
And that's been the key. They've gotten to the offensive glass. They've forced Minnesota into turnovers. So now let's see what Minnesota can do to get more, to play more of their game, get the shots that they want to get.
Now, here's the problem. They had a long drought with the end of that first quarter. 4 points the last 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Underneath, great look to Maya Moore. Bonner never saw it. Moore can't finish. Whalen does. Lindsay Whalen, who averaged almost 14 points and 6 assists a game last year here at her home state, leading them to the title. And it's the Mercury who now have to take the air out and silence the crowd a little bit.
They just need a good possession. They need to get a good shot this time down the floor.
Houston was 4 of 8 in that first quarter. The rest of the team 4 for 19. Sade will go to the free throw line after the foul.
Right now, Sade Houston just has a terrific offensive mindset. And this is last possession down the floor. Just a tough inbounds pass. The receiver's not there to get it. Minnesota able to score an easy 2, but the other end of the floor. Sade Houston has just been aggressive. When she's gotten the basketball, she's looking to score. And we're used to seeing that out of all 5 players on the floor for the Phoenix Mercury.
Phoenix for Corey Gaines.
Give her the ball. Play the release. One shot. Here we go.
You can hear he's wired for sound, both coaches today, so we're listening throughout the game to both of them. Corey, as we mentioned, won the title in 2009 after they had won it in 2007. Last year, 19 and 15 the Mercury were. They were the 3rd seed out west. If you don't follow the WNBA, the top 4 in the east, top 4 in the west, make it to the playoffs. Bonner clears it and starts the break. Here comes Candace Dupree. I don't know if she lost the handle or just got a little extra, maybe a little extra something there and lost it.
Well, she did all the work. She ran, beat everybody down the floor. You got to get your handle and finish that.
High-low, they've been working that. Augustus Brunson to follow, and that's what Rebecca does so well. Averaged almost 9 rebounds per game last year.
She's just slippery, especially if she's away from the basket. She can get inside and get the offensive rebound. Nice backdoor cut by DeWanna Bonner.
And it broke a 15-5 Minnesota run. Bonner, who averaged double figures last year, but just was that spark off the bench. And as a coach now, she's earned her starting spot, but then you miss that spark off the bench. That was a great luxury that Corey Gaines had. Williams Franklin the rebound and the foul.
And Samantha Prahalis, what she does so well is she can find the seam, can find the open teammate cutting to the basket. As soon as the defender turned her head, Bonner went to the rim. Well, I think that's got to be encouraging right now for Corey Gaines. Not only that his team is only down 3 without Penny Taylor, as he pointed out, without Diana Taurasi, but the way Sade Houston's playing. When Taurasi comes back in, she's going to be a great 6th-player weapon.
Be an interesting second half of the season. Reminder, you can go to WNBA.com/live access and watch WNBA games live or on demand on your computer and mobile device. Interesting season overall because of the break during the Olympic run. Mid-July to mid-August, there is no play in the league because of the Olympics. And so many of these stars, as Whalen gets the steal, gets it back, and will go to the line. Stars in this league will be stars in London this year.
And one of them being Lindsay Whalen. And it's going to be a unique challenge for the Minnesota Lynx because 3 of their players are on that Olympic team. So Cheryl Reed's going to have 4 weeks where she only has 8 players here that are going to be able to practice and train.
Whalen, Augustus, and Maya Moore all on the Olympic team. And on the other side, Diana Taurasi. Now we'll hear from the WNBA president, Laurel Richie, on the other side of this break. Approaching the 7.5-minute mark in the second. Nice Sunday. Rebecca picked up some oranges for the broadcast a few hours ago. Now we're working inside the Target Center, kicking off the 16th season of play in the WNBA. And Holly Rowe is standing by with WNBA President Laurel Ritchie.
Well, Laurel, this is your second full season on the job as president. We've seen what Roger Goodell and David Stern have done, putting their fingerprint on their league. What do you hope to make your fingerprint this season in the league?
You know, I hope that this is a season where we really have significant increases in our attendance and in the partners that come and sponsor the league. I think those are two really critical components for us to really bring the league to more and more people.
Those are two things that were successful last season: increased attendance, increased ratings. But this is a unique year with the Olympics. How do you plan to work around the Olympics and try to still grow the league?
You know, we're really excited about the Olympics. It gives us a chance to showcase the WNBA players on an Olympic at an international stage. So that's really exciting. And we have a lot of players who are still in market who can connect with our fans and partners. And we're doing lots of fit clinics and viewing parties. So lots of really good activity happening during that break.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Holly, thank you. You get a bucket at each end after Houston hit her fourth three of the game. She's got 15. The Lynx go up by 5 at the other end. And one thing to mention here in this building, Glenn Taylor, who's the owner of both the Lynx and the T-Wolves, really stayed with this franchise when a lot of people in Minneapolis didn't think he would or even should, maybe.
Well, it was amazing last year during the finals, and even to see this crowd here at the opening game compared to what we saw a couple years ago when the Lynx were struggling and the fans, you know, didn't come out in the numbers that they have now. It's really a rejuvenated city in terms of their support of the W.
Quick look underneath, and it's a 4-point lead. Brunson, who's the 9th-year veteran out of Georgetown, hooking up with another veteran, to say the least, Taj McWilliams-Franklin.
Taj McWilliams-Franklin is an outstanding passer, especially from that high post area. Minnesota is so good when they run their offense through that high post.
Taj, who's the mother of 3, received a bouquet of flowers on Mother's Day recently from her teammates, although there's quite a bit of teasing here and there during the practice sessions as well.
Well, she's 41.
Yes, so. One of the veterans in sport, pro sports overall. What's Kurt Thomas? 39, I think, the oldest in the NBA, so she's got him back a couple of years. Grant Hill is right there, and Steve Nash right behind at 38. But Taj is the veteran in this league. Brunson, up and under. Chance for 3. Foul on Sade Houston.
Minnesota getting down, running the floor. Rebecca Brunson. I'm a big, but I've got some handles too as she finishes. But my favorite part of this play, we were talking about Taj McWilliams-Franklin, the veteran. She was still at the other end of the floor. She knew Brunson was going to score. She was going to get a little bit of rest.
You pick your spots, Rebecca, when
right.
You've been around for a while.
She's smart enough to pick those spots.
Brunson, who spent 6 years with Sacramento and won a title back in 2005. Taj McWilliams-Franklin's go back to the other end, Holly.
Well, she's told me that she learns how to conserve energy throughout the games, but her other key to not aging, she learned when she was playing overseas in Korea. Getting up early and stretching. It's a routine that she has continued in this season. She played year-round, playing in Poland and Israel. And guys, she's lowered her body fat this season, so she's in better shape than ever at 41 years old.
Yeah, so many of these players, most of them, in fact, play overseas. Really, whether it's Russia or Poland or Turkey or Israel, all around the globe, up until the week that they report here and start play.
And that would have been a better story if we didn't make Holly tell it while she was getting
beaten at the other end defensively. It happens to the best of them. Bonner with the free throw.
But you're right. When you look at the roster and where these women have been for the entire winter, it's all over the globe.
Yep. In fact, Diana Taurasi, who played in Turkey this past year and last year as well, previously had played in Russia, just signed a deal. She's going back to Ekaterinburg, Russia, as soon as the WNBA season is over. So you think about that season. If you start right now, play Taj on, it makes up for getting beat at the other end, don't you think? But you start right now, play through the Olympics as well, second half of the season, and then get right on a plane and fly to Russia and start your season all new.
Yeah, not an easy lifestyle.
Ray Lawson hits the silencer. Alexis, the second-year player out of Cal. Good screen for Wright. Tamani came over to help. Got the block. Out to Wiggins. Candace can shoot that. Did it in college. At Stanford and now doing it in Minneapolis.
And Candace Wiggins is an energy player, especially when she gets involved hitting shots. She is right there pumping her fist. She gets her teammates going.
And a technical foul has just been called. They get Candace Wiggins. I believe they did.
When she was pumping her fist, she made contact with Samantha Prahalis. A little bit in her face, talking and cheering, but you make the contact. And it's a point of emphasis this year, Terry. Respect for the game guidelines. Yesterday in the first half of the Connecticut-New York game, 4 technical fouls called. It's really a point of emphasis this year.
In my opinion, there was a push both ways. But Candace started it verbally.
You shouldn't be up in an opponent's face saying anything.
So Bonner gets the free throw on the technical, and it's an 8-point lead now. We go back a couple of minutes ago, and we kind of talked about it in break. How is Minnesota not further ahead than they were at that? Because with the lineup they have, the weapons they have, and as depleted as this lineup for Phoenix is right now, well, they've started to do that.
Well, the biggest difference between the first and second quarters has been offensive rebounding. The first quarter, Phoenix was getting the second opportunities. Minnesota's been getting them here in the second and getting out in transition as well.
How quick. Monica Wright to the other end. Threw it away, got it back, and makes it a 10-point game. Prahalis and Wiggins, the matchup out front at the point guard spot, one to watch. Fiery personality, Prahalis, and there's the screen and an illegal one. Gray Lawson called for the offensive foul.
We talked about the difference in the quarters being the offensive rebounding. I mean, you see it all right there. 0 offensive rebounds here in the second quarter for Phoenix. That's what they were doing to keep themselves in this game when they weren't shooting a high percentage.
How does that turn around like that so dramatically?
It's because the other team is being
effort. I mean, it's just
more focused on boxing out. It's pretty simple. And it happened because Shelby addressed it in the huddle.
Shot clock still plenty on that, but wild shot. Tamani comes up with it. Here comes Prahalis. They traded Tamika Johnson to Tulsa for Andrea Riley, and then Wade Riley and Prahalis, heir apparent, the point guard spot. Bonner connects from long range, a 3 right in front of the Phoenix bench. It's what she added to her game mostly last year.
Yeah, two off seasons ago, she expanded her range, and she's just so good. Such a good scorer. It's going to be fun to see her playing those different minutes or in the different role because she's a starter this year.
She had 35 3-pointers last year, right as Gray Lawson got caught on the screen and then didn't get back in time. That's
one of the areas Wright has improved her game, is getting to the rim. She's such an explosive, strong player. She gets inside, she's going to have those opportunities to score.
You see the Lynx doubling up the Mercury in the paint. These are the two of the best teams. Top 3 last year, points in the paint. Prahalis acting as if she got hit, went to her eye after nailing that jumper. 7 threes so far for Phoenix. 4 of those by Sharday Houston. Hesitation, Augustus all the way to the left hand and the bucket. Not sure how you guard her, because now you have to respect the mid-range shot. You've got that first step to go by you.
You say help a lot. Help. That's how I guard her. Okay, Prahalis, help. Tamani, help. Help.
No help coming there. Tamika Catchings, who's the reigning MVP in the WNBA. We hear from her. And her injury late last season really hurt their chances in the playoffs. We've got 2 teams from the West meeting today here in Minneapolis. What about the East? Pretty wide open, I would think.
Yeah, the East is going to be interesting. Connecticut was the other team that has 9 players returning from last year to this year. We'd expect Atlanta behind Angel McCautry to have another good year. Chicago much improved in the offseason, so it's going to be interesting watching both of these conferences.
And Atlanta without a couple of key players, including Erica DeSosa, who won't join them until after the Olympic break. Bonner the floater in the lane. It's kept them alive. Her moves, her score. scoring and what they've done from three-point land. Phoenix 4 of 4 beyond the arc this quarter. Candace Wiggins says, all right, I'll answer that at the other end.
Well, that's what Candace Wiggins is brought in to do. Provide energy and hit the outside shot. And another turnover for Phoenix, and that's been a killer this quarter for the Phoenix Mercury.
6 this quarter, Phoenix.
And on the other end, the one thing defensively you do not want to give up is that. A three-point shot with time, her feet set. It's too easy to make that shot.
And we were wondering where Sharday Houston was. She got 4 three-pointers in the game and 15 points. And Corey Gaines just called for her to get up and get in the game. Brunson runs it down, the offensive rebound, and the Lynx have just absolutely taken over that aspect of the game. Screen, Augustus, Haj. Still had a chance. Brunson underneath, but they are just crashing the glass.
And what's really striking again between the first quarter and the second quarter is the number of shots Phoenix has gotten up. 9 shots in this quarter. Minnesota has 22, I think, and it's because the roles have reversed.
Yep.
Phoenix is turning the basketball over, and they're the ones giving up the second chances.
Houston back on the floor with 15 points. Bonner with 9 in the game. Here's Sharday. Operates. Augustus a little late. Sanford somehow got that to go. High off the glass and in.
But right away, Sharday Houston making her impact felt on the offensive end.
Wright forcing the issue at the other end. Will go to the free throw line. And if that's on Sanford, that's 3 on her, and it is. So a critical foul for the Mercury. NBA Conference semifinals continue on ABC. 2:30 Eastern time. Kia NBA Countdown comes your way. Then at 3:30 Eastern, LeBron and the Heat trying to come back. 2-1 deficit for them, taking on the Pacers in Game 4. NBA Conference semifinals on ABC, home of the NBA Finals. How about all the action out west in LA this weekend? Hadn't been good, though, for the Lakers. They're down now. They lost the last one 3-1. And obviously the Clippers, who were up 40-16 yesterday and lost to San Antonio.
It's the beauty of the NBA, right? No lead is ever too big.
Oh, well, they came up with a 27 down in Game 1 on the road at Memphis in that series, and eventually won that and then won a series. So Hallis let it fly. Simone Augustus. Wright took the extra step with their contact, though, and they say there was.
Kia, that's why I told you had 3. Yeah. I just told you had 3. That's why I told you. I said you had 3. Come on. Come on.
Well, you heard the conversation, and that's the 4th foul on the Kia Sanford, as there was a sub waiting to check in on the next dead ball for her.
And that's just silly. She's a 9th-year player. She's smarter than that. She knows. And that's why I told you had 3, basically, so you wouldn't pick up the 4th, and especially in a silly foul against Monica Wright.
There's not much you can say to that either. What do you? Yeah, I know. I get it.
The person who's less happy than you, Coach, right now is me. I'm going to go to the end of the bench.
I'll be sitting next to you for the next 30 minutes or so.
Listening to you talk about it.
Prahalis couldn't handle it as Dupree threw it right behind her. Turnover's been the key here in the second quarter. Quick hands. Houston almost took it away for Augustus twice. Here's Simone on the move, using her body so well off the glass.
And that's a matchup Sharday Houston played a few years with Simone Augustus here in Minnesota. Probably battled her a lot in practice as well.
Tamani, line drive jumper.
And
17.4 left.
A bad use of the clock. You had 18 seconds left. You wanted to take the last shot now. Take the shot too early in the possession.
You get in that mindset, especially when you're learning Corey Gaines' system of letting it fly, just firing at any time. But you do have to know time and score in terms of last possession and whatnot.
At the end of the half, he's going to say, that's why I told you there were 17 seconds on the clock.
Tipped out, stays right here, 0.3, so they'll have to throw it up.
But that is enough time in the WNBA to catch and shoot.
You can in the WNBA, it's different. 36-23, largest Minnesota was up off the heel and out. So 56-43, and that lead once again larger. Send it over to Holly Rowe.
Simone, Augustus, you guys come out to start this game. You get your championship rings. They raise the banner. How hard was it then to turn your attention to getting back to defending that championship?
Not hard at all. We just want to focus on experiencing this moment with our fans, and then after that, it was time for basketball. It's, you know, the road to the repeat.
Coach didn't waste any time getting on you guys in the huddle in the first quarter about defense and rebounding. Phoenix had too many shots. How did you turn that around in the second quarter?
Just being more aggressive, trying to dictate where they get the ball, keep them on one side of the court to make every shot difficult.
You were getting on yourself for missing that last second shot. What'd you have to do different?
Oh, man, just try to get some rotation on the ball and get it up a little bit.
Thanks, Simone.
Thank you.
All right, so they outscored by 13 in the second quarter. Remember, it was tied up at 20 after the first. Coming up in a moment, back in the studio, Cindy Brunson taking a look at the Heat and the Pacers game this afternoon, and also at the Lynx. Could there be a dynasty here in Minneapolis? They won a title last year. They got 4 All-Stars back to go after number 2 this year. 56-43 to the studio. Our halftime report after these messages. 16th season of play underway in the WNBA here on ABC, and the defending champs, the Minnesota Lynx, with a 13-point lead at the break. Terry Gannon back with Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe. Great second quarter for the Lynx, especially their bench, Rebecca.
Well, this game was tied at the end of the first quarter because Phoenix got the pace they wanted going up and down. It was a different second quarter. Minnesota got to the offensive glass. They took care of the basketball. They forced Phoenix to turn the basketball over, so completely different story those first 2 quarters.
Phoenix with 7 turnovers in the second quarter, leading to 10 Lynx points. And the bench for Minnesota outscoring the reserves for Phoenix 19-2. Brunson opens up with the miss, and here is the Big Ten Player of the Year last year at Ohio State, Samantha Prahalis. Hands it off to Bonner, who knocks down a 3. That's the one thing that Phoenix has done very well, shoot the 3 today.
And that's why they're still within striking distance in this game. I mean, they did not play a good second quarter, but were still able to get some of those threes to fall. It's a great equalizer.
Bonner's got a couple of threes, 12 points in the game. Maya Moore with the miss, the Rookie of the Year last year, as Minnesota won 27 games. They only lost 7 games all of last year, and they were 14-3 here at home. Very good in the target center. Prahalis guarded by Lindsay Whalen. Bonner beyond the arc again, a little bit strong. Starts the break for the Lynx. Moore lost it. Prahalis had it. They go to the deck. Taj McWilliams-Franklin, the 41-year-old, had it and gives it right to Duana Bonner. Phoenix loving to run. They want this game to go up and down. They always do. And Taj all alone at the other end. One of those times when she doesn't run the floor, and it pays off this time.
Samantha Prahalis also down. She did not cross the court either because she got hit. Now Tamara Poole attending to her over on the sideline, but Taj McWilliams-Franklin, she's like, all right, Prahalis is still down here. I'll just stand here, and benefits the other way. You know, when you play pickup, you're not allowed to do that. That basket doesn't count if you cross over half court.
No such rule in WNBA. 8.5 minutes in the quick timeout. Prahalis being tended to. That's one thing they cannot afford at all, because you're already down to 10 players on the roster without Penny Taylor this year. Diana Taurasi, who you see on the right side of your screen, is out with a hip flexor injury today, and Prahalis trying to catch her breath. Well, she got hit, so it's Alexis Gray-Lawson, the second-year player out of Cal, who grew up in Oakland, handling the point guard responsibilities now, guarded by Whalen. Sanford the screen, doesn't use it. Nakia operates in the lane. Tough shot.
And good defense by Taj McWilliams-Franklin. Sanford has to be careful. She picked up that 4th foul at the end of the second quarter. I wonder if Minnesota will try to take it right at her.
At this point, if you're Corey Gaines, you're feeling like you have to play her because you just don't have the numbers off the bench. Only 2 players from the bench played in the first half. Augustus, the floater. Great body control, Simone. Scored over 3,000 points now in her career. An all-star last year, finals MVP.
Finally, a full season and an off season going into last year for Simone Augustus of being healthy.
Missed most of the previous 2 seasons because of injury. Dupree, Haas trying to stay with her. McWilliams-Franklin will pick up the foul. But the lead now up to 14 for the Lynx. So Miami and Indiana coming up next. NBA playoffs continue on ABC. Big game 4, especially for the Heat. LA and Connecticut coming your way on the 13th, 8 o'clock Eastern, ESPN 2. And Seattle and New York, June 30th on NBA TV, 4 o'clock Eastern. And Seattle without Lauren Jackson until after the Olympics. Sue Bird, even more important. But she did that last year, too, for much of the season. It was all on Sue Bird.
And so what did Brian Agler do? He brought in Tina Thompson to fill that void a little bit, and Ann Waters back in the WNBA as well. So that's still a team that has a great chance to contend in the West.
There's no question Minnesota is the favorite in the West and overall. But outside of that, it really is wide open. And it's certainly in the East, it is wide open this year. Ray Lawson trying to stay with Moore, just uses her body, and the whistle, the bucket, and the foul. That was just sheer strength.
And Maya Moore, a player who grew up playing the post spot, she is very, very good with her back to the basket, and Gray Lawson is strong, but she doesn't have the height to go against Maya Moore inside. Showreef said she'll use Maya Moore this year a little bit at the 4 spot. She's playing the 3 position right now, but there will be times this season we'll see it more than we have in the past where Maya will be inside on the block.
Title last year after being the #1 overall pick in a rookie season. The second time that's happened. The first, though, Tina Thompson back in '97 as the league was just getting underway. Dupree, halfway down and out, kept alive. What they did in the first quarter to stay with it, and that's also what they did in the first quarter. Give it to Sharday Houston and let her shoot the 3.
She's been the brightest of bright spots for Phoenix so far in this game.
18 in the game for Houston coming back here to Minneapolis. Hornbuckle now in, also a member of the Lynx last year. Moore, they have numbers off to Augustus. Pretty work. Perfect way to run the break. 17 points for Simone.
I want to see that pass by Maya Moore again. It was like she was almost in a juggling motion with the basketball through the underhand flip to Simone Augustus.
Houston underneath and the bucket. Nice. Avery Worley, the rookie out of Liberty. Bit of a surprise that she has made this roster. More in, out, and back in again. They don't take much time, do they? And Worley, the rookie, made the roster. Undrafted rookie and a free agent. As Bonner is set to check in along with Jessica Adair.
One of the trademarks for Minnesota last year was their unselfishness. And there's a little flip-up pass by Maya Moore to Simone Augustus. And this is a team, they were so good because they're willing to share the basketball. And you have to be when you have as many weapons as Minnesota has on your roster.
And explosive right out of the gate. They had 36 points in that second quarter. The most they scored in the quarter all of last season, 32. So they passed that in game 1. Ray Lawson, that's a triple. Right behind the line. And Alexis nails the jumper.
Yeah, the thing that's keeping Minnesota in the game, even when they turn the basketball over or give up the second chance points, has just been hitting the 3-point shot.
Double digits now, 10 of 18. Moore trying to get position inside on the block, was fouled away from the ball. Hornbuckle picks up her first. That's all you can do with Maya Moore, though. I mean, you let her catch it in the lane. You saw what she did on the last possession. Cheryl Reeve takes out Moore. Cheryl, the coach of the year last year in the WNBA, spent 9 years as an assistant at Charlotte, Cleveland, and Detroit.
Angles? I was anticipating an angle, and she flips. Yep.
And worked for Bill Lambier. Detroit still close and texts back and forth with Bill.
I just like the phrase. I was anticipating an angle.
Sounds lofty, sounds advanced, doesn't it?
Whether or not it means anything to what she was talking about, I like the way it sounds.
Oh, I see. Augustus with a jumper and the lead back up to 13. Worley set the screen. They call the foul on Wiggins, trying to fight around it. First on Kansas. How's the angle here? Pretty good, I'd say. Simone, double-digit lead for the Lynx.
ESPN's presentation of the WNBA on ABC. Brought to you by Boost Mobile. Be heard. Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And WNBAstore.com, your official source for WNBA gear.
Phoenix back on the floor, down 13, and without Diana Taurasi, who played a pretty nasty practical joke on her teammates, including Nakia Sanford, telling Sanford, "I've decided not to play this year." Watch this.
This was supposed to come out, obviously, in a couple days where they were going to make an official statement, but you know what? You just got punked. I did not stand you, I swear.
Well, Diana, you had a strain in a scrimmage this week. Tell us what happened with your injury.
You know, I just was out there and a little fatigue, and I pulled it, so, you know, just have to wait till it gets a little bit better. Been working with the trainer, so I should be okay.
This is your first time getting to really see your team in a game situation. What do you think of the teammates you have around you so far this season?
You know, we're doing a lot of good things. Obviously, it's the first game. We have a lot of new pieces, new faces. You know, and it takes a while to get used to each other, know where, you know, we like the ball on the floor, what we're trying to do. So, you know, a lot of good things.
Samantha Prahalis getting the start as a rookie. How do you assess her performance so far?
Sammy Joe, she can go. She's ready. You know, the kid can play. She's a rookie. You know, like Rubio, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but she'll be all right.
All right. Well, thank you. Hope to see you back soon.
Yeah, and you know what? She said the one person she knew that she could get with that practical joke was Nakia Sanford, and who did not take it well at first. Well, on Hornbuckle there. And there's Nakia on the bench with the 4 fouls. You heard her reference Ricky Rubio, who's in the house today watching the Lynx. But certainly, Corey Gaines trying to get it done on the road against Minnesota without Penny Taylor, without Diana Taurasi. That is a tall order.
It's a tall order today, and it's going to be a tall order, I think, for a lot of this season. Because we've seen consistently over the course of the WNBA seasons, the teams that have consistency within their roster are the teams that contend for championships. So with the roster that he has this year without Penny Taylor, depending on Diana Taurasi's health situation, it'll be interesting to see if Phoenix can find its way into the playoffs.
But if you have a Diana Taurasi on the floor and healthy, you feel like you're in any game.
She gives you a chance to win every single game you play.
But it will be difficult out west this year overall for them without Taylor. Quick hands, right. Prahalis, hard foul, but she allowed the bucket. You got to commit the foul. You can't let her get the hoop, too.
You've got to do one or the other. When the team gets out in transition, you've got to prevent the shot from going in. I like the fact that there was no chance of getting injured there, but you got to either take the foul or just let her go.
You know, some, because of temperament and the way she plays, have compared Prahalis a little bit to Taurasi. We asked Diana about that earlier today. He goes, nah, not really. I don't see any similarities, but I love the way she plays. Behind the back, Augustus lost it. Saves it. Devereaux Peters, the rookie, number 3 pick overall, out of Notre Dame, runs it down.
And Wright's given some really good minutes to Minnesota here today. She had 11 points in that first half. And that was one thing Minnesota, they got decent production from their bench last year, but are looking for more from their bench this year.
Is that Simone, I believe? Yeah, deep in the corner. They called it 20 right now. They're going to check on her as she went flying to run down that loose ball. And you mentioned it. Most of the previous 2 years before last year, she was out with injury. Takes an awkward step as she lands. And then held up. They continue to work on her in the corner. As Monica Wright called the timeout. No, with all the different factors coming into the season, you got 4 All-Stars back, you have 5 starters back, you have 9 players overall. Obviously, injuries throughout the season play a large role in whether or not you're successful, and she would be a big one.
Especially in the WNBA, where your roster is 11 players, and it's a short season. 34 games.
Yeah, when you're 3 weeks into the season, you've already played a high percentage of the total number of games you're going to play for the year. So on her feet, at least. 7th-year player out of LSU from Baton Rouge. Member of the Olympic team, won an Olympic gold medal back in 2008. And actually, last year, if you look at her numbers, lowest in her career, but that's because they had so many players around her. She didn't need to score as much.
But when they did need her, she was the MVP of the WNBA Finals.
And those numbers went way up in the playoffs. So they take her to the locker room, and Holly will no doubt get a report as quickly as possible from them and their staff. Jessica Adair now on the floor for Minnesota. 5 on the shot clock. Wiggins doesn't take 1. Adair follows it up and in.
And Adair last year was much improved in terms of her conditioning, but this year I think she's taken it one step further. She looks like she's in the best shape of her life just based on her physique.
18-point lead for the defending champs. Hornbuckle. Contact, no call. Pretty good no call. Right. Prahalis trying to stay with her and can't.
And Cheryl Reeve is going to be thrilled about that. They actually spent time with Monica Wright early in this preseason learning how to do underhand layups. This is a kid who every time she went down the floor did the 2-foot jump shot. So they practiced underhand layups with Monica Wright, and she just finished one.
Very odd on the professional level. This is that league practice.
It's odd unless you're at camp. Summer camp
right.
in like junior high.
You're right. Wiggins, the kick stays here. Candace Dupree set to check in for Phoenix. Through the playoffs, this place one of the better home court advantages. They packed it in and were loud through their run last year. They waited so long for a title, dozen years, and they had one playoff win up until that point before the run last year. And overall in Minneapolis and Minnesota, too. I mean, the professional teams in a long time. The Twins have done it a couple times, 91, and Kirby Puckett and whatnot. But basketball-wise, Minneapolis Lakers, George Mikan back in the day. Loose ball foul. Will walk the other end. Corey Gaines' squad, he likes them to get up and down and shoot the ball early in the shot clock, but they've missed their last 9 shots now.
Well, you look at the roster that they have on the floor, there's not a lot of players out there who can create their own shots. I mean, Candace Dupree needs to get the ball and bring it closer to the basket. Sharday Houston can create a little bit, but still happier to stay outside and take the jumper. So you want the shots taken early in the clock. It's their best opportunity to get open looks.
Devereaux Peters had 75 blocks, steals, and assists over that number last year. Only second player in a decade to do that in college. Candace Parker, the last one to do it. All Big East first team last year. Houston. Oh, she's been terrific today.
She's just been so smooth. I think maybe motivated a little bit going up against her former team as well.
The steal. Houston at the other end. And the foul. Sharday with 22 in the game and a chance to make it 23.
What I've really liked has been her reaction to it as well. It's just been cool and calm and going the other way. I think she also understands the score, but she's just getting the job done. not saying much, not reacting to it. Corey Gaines said he was surprised at how much she can do offensively. Well, she came out of high school going to the University of Connecticut. She was the leading scorer in the state of California, broke Cheryl Miller's record.
Yep. Yeah, you asked him, in fact, what's been the biggest surprise, the one surprise, and that's what he pointed to, her offense. Another steal. Prahalis. Bonner, DeWanna gets it up and off the glass and in, and the lead down to 15. Quick timeout taken by Cheryl Reeve.
Cheryl Reeve's got to be frustrated. I mean, Phoenix was struggling to score, and then they've been able to score because they've gotten out in transition off of turnovers.
Remember, they had missed 9 in a row on a little run of 6-0 off the steals.
Well, Maya Moore was anticipating another angle, and it turned into a turnover on the other end of the floor. But that's what Phoenix wants to do, especially when you're struggling to score in your half court. You want to get out in transition.
Now, you played for the same coach in college, Gino Auriemma. Did she learn that angle from Gino?
No, but she might have learned that. I don't know if we should call it an excuse, but she might have learned that phrase from him. I don't know.
It's an explanation, not an excuse.
That's right, the explanation.
So a 15-point lead for the Lynx here, the defending champs. LeBron James and the Heat trying to get a title. And that's coming up next. Game 4, 2:30 Eastern. Key NBA countdown, and action comes your way 3:30 Eastern time. They got to come back. They're down 2-1. And maybe toughen up a little bit in that game. Waylon Worley tied her up. Got a piece of the ball and all ball.
We talked about Lindsay Whalen in this game very much. She had such a terrific year last year. A big part of Minnesota's success was having her leadership.
1 for 4 so far today. Just 3 points in the game. She does have 4 assists, though. But you're right, the intangibles as much as anything what she gives you. Especially when she's surrounded by a lineup like this. Prahalis didn't pull the trigger. Thought about it. Reset. Worley the screen. Rolls. Avery Worley a little bit strong. And another jump ball. Worley's going to give you the rebound. She's going to run the floor. I'm not sure you're looking for points from her.
Off of layups, probably.
In that situation.
You want to get her the ball very near the basket. That's what she's going to give you.
She crashed into her. Hey, I would appreciate Michael just said he missed it.
So I take it Cheryl disagrees. A bit of a mismatch on the jump ball, too. Prahalis at 5'7", going up against Peters at 6'2". Whalen, Bonner, and the bucket.
I love it. Lindsay Whalen going up against 6'4" and long DeWanna Bonner. Just takes it right at her.
Prahalis rattles it home. Not going to be shy. And that's the thing. If you're a point guard coming into this system, you know you've got the green light whenever you want it. Pretty much everybody does. Hey there. Prahalis up to Houston. Corner, good spacing, ball movement. Bonner buys the 3 and has a word to say to the bench. And the lead is down to 12.
I keep wondering when you look at the score, how has Phoenix stayed in this basketball game? And it's been the opportunities to get out in transition. It's the threes that they've been able to hit.
Whalen another bucket with the answer, and the lead back up to 14. The threes have done it, though, for Phoenix. Kept a minute. They've got 11 in the game. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station. Fourth quarter about to open up, 81-67. Minnesota with the lead as we send it over to Holly Rowe.
So, Coach, what concerns you the most about Simone's injury going into the crowd right now?
I don't know what the injury is yet. The fact that I don't have her right now concerns me because this game's not over.
How concerned are you right now with your defense, the transition and the threes that they're giving up?
Our defense has not been anywhere near what it needs to be, and I don't understand that. Obviously, we got one more quarter to try to find our Lynx defense.
Thanks, Coach. You're welcome.
They open up with a defensive stop and a steal and an opportunity on offense. So 81-67 as Whalen gets inside for the easy bucket. What they've allowed defensively, Rebecca, are the open jumpers from beyond the arc for Phoenix today.
And they've turned the basketball over in the last quarter, and that's led to fast break opportunities for Phoenix as well.
Remember, they didn't have a turnover in the entire second quarter. Take it away again. So 2 straight possessions where Minnesota gets a steal. With Williams-Franklin gives them a fresh shot clock. Wiggins, yep. Late to get up the floor, spots up, buries a jumper.
Well, clearly, Cheryl Reeve addressed their defensive intensity in that last timeout because they have been much better just to start this first minute of the fourth quarter.
Candace Wiggins, 3 of 4 beyond the arc today. Ray Lawson around the screen. Reach-in foul called on Candace Wiggins.
2 very different point guards, though, for Phoenix when you compare Prahalis to Gray Lawson. Prahalis is very slight of frame and comes down. She's not going to overpower you. Well, Gray Lawson is very different, a much bigger and stronger point guard.
Not that Wiggins is making the adjustment now to the professional game. She's been here, but a player like Prahalis, that is one of the adjustments you have to make in the league. Is Candace Dupree. It's the open 15-footer, but how physical even the guards are.
Yeah, people talk about the speed of the game, but it's definitely about how physical all of the players are as you're getting bumped, your cuts going through the lane. Looking today, Samantha Prahalis is the lightest player in the league.
High screen and roll, such a part of the NBA and the WNBA. That's that physical aspect of that, fighting through screens and hedging and whatnot, recovering. It's difficult. Big adjustment from college. Houston left wide open right down the lane, and what a day. Homecoming for Sharday Houston. 24 points in the game.
And another situation where Minnesota turnover leads to easy points the other way. Again, a turnover.
But a whistle away from the ball.
23, make a screen, offensive foul.
The foul on Minnesota. Look at the numbers, 5 of 9, and some of that early. She was 3 of 4 beyond the arc in the first 5 minutes or so of the game. It set the tone for them.
And you just look at Sharday Houston's career. She was an all-star in 2009. Last year, she played under 8 minutes a game for this Minnesota team. Now she has an opportunity to get a lot of minutes and be an integral part of what Phoenix is doing offensively.
2 points away from her career high. She could have had it right there. And the Lynx, who will take the opportunity to run, and I'm going to slow the ball down entirely throughout the game. But against Phoenix, you have to pick your spots. Brunson, hit, bucket, free throw. There's an example of the strength at this level.
And the speed and quickness. Rebecca Brunson, so good. Terrific finish going up against the rookie. She sees the rookie on her at the elbow. I'm going to take it to the basket.
Brunson, the all-time leading rebounder at Georgetown, 2nd in points when she left. And now in her 9th year in the WNBA. Every time Phoenix makes a run, like the Lynx have had an answer, and much of it's been on the defensive end.
That's what a veteran team does. That's what a championship team does. And they respond to their coach, and that was clearly her challenge in the timeout between quarters.
Boy, smart play. Somehow Bonner able to draw the foul on Monica Wright.
Let's go, Joe.
And she'll go to the free throw line. She won a 91% free throw shooter last year. Reminder tonight's the season's biggest music event featuring music's biggest stars. Special tribute to Whitney Houston, hosted by Modern Family's Ty Burrell and Julie Bowen, live from the Las Vegas Strip. The Billboard Music Awards live tonight, right here on ABC. So the lead is 16. Pressure up the court, denying Whalen the basketball. right. Brunson, another layup. And now things are getting easy against that Phoenix defense.
That was a beautiful offensive set because of Minnesota's spacing. There was just room for players to move and eventually ended up with the cut by Brunson, but terrific spacing that time down the floor.
There's the double. Prahalis knocked out of bounds with 9 on the shot clock. And Simone Augustus is making her way back to the court. Remember, she went out with that injury in the corner, was down for quite some time. They took her back. Get a report from Holly in a moment on her. Prahalis with the three-pointer as Whalen was just a little bit late coming out to defend.
Samantha Prahalis, as she gets a little bit more experience in this league, gets used to running Corey game system. You've seen in bits and pieces today what she can bring.
And Prahalis just tied out Taj McWilliams-Franklin as you hear the crowd react to Simone Augustus coming back to the bench. The fact that she's able to return under her own power. And here it's a rib injury. But the crowd obviously sigh of relief here in Minneapolis.
And she's just so hugely important to the success of this Minnesota team.
Tipped out, stays at this end. So a 15-point game. The threes keeping Phoenix in the game. 12 of them today. Last year they made 10 or more threes on 7 different occasions. 15 the most. So they're approaching that. But they haven't found a way to stop the Minnesota Lynx. And Whalen with another uncontested layup.
How good has Lindsay Whalen been the last 5 or 6 minutes in particular?
Well, she heard you say, where's Lindsay Whalen been? Haven't mentioned her name in a while.
I don't think I said where has she been. I think I just said we hadn't mentioned her very much.
You implied that, though.
Not at all.
Moore with the miss. Stanford the foul. And Simone Augustus back on the bench. We'll have a report on her. Don't forget, coming up next, D. Wade. LeBron and the Heat taking on Indiana. Game 4 on ABC. We're looking for 100 points here in the opener in the Target Center. Minnesota 93-76. Simone Augustus, remember earlier, lost the ball out of bounds and injured herself going after it. And that brief moment where you're really worried about her because she went over the chair. It took her a long time to get back up. She did walk off under her own power, went straight to the locker room. They checked her out, and Holly Rowe now knows what happened.
Well, they were able to take her back and examine her. They did not have to x-ray her. They said that she has got a contusion on the right side of her ribs. She hit the top of the chair pretty hard as she went over. They put some extra padding over her just to give her some support right now, but we won't see her for the rest of the game. But I was speaking to her agent and she said she's fine. I also saw Simone joking and laughing with her teammates. Does not appear to be serious.
All right, so contusion, it's painful, but it's a good word, actually. It's a bruise, and she's okay. Whalen in the open floor again, just trying to prove Rebecca Lobo wrong. 95-76. They scored 100 points 3 times last year. Had 106 at Phoenix in a matchup the Lynx did last year. And right now, they're looking to get there. Still at 5:20 left.
Every time Minnesota has come out of a timeout, they've brought... So every time Minnesota's come out of a timeout, they've picked it up with their defensive intensity. And it's led often to steals and going down the other way. So what do we hear Cheryl Reeve just talking about in the huddle? What Phoenix is going to want to do and what she wants her players to do to counteract that on defense.
And a number of times they've come out with a different look, whether it's three-quarter pressure, full-court pressure, a trap in the half-court or whatnot. Moore up top against Bonner. They swing it to Dupree. Houston trying to tie a career high. Can't this time. And Moore with the rebound. How about Maya Moore coming off that Rookie of the Year season last year. How good do you expect her to be, and what does she need to do to get better?
I think she just needs to do what she did last year, and that's fit into her role. I mean, last year, she was probably the 4th best player on this Minnesota team, and she's an exceptionally talented player. She's going to continue to get better and better, but she doesn't need to be the leader yet. She's got Taj McWilliams-Franklin. She's got Lindsay Whalen, Simone Augustus. She just needs to find her spots, and I thought she did a great job of that last year.
Prahalis lost it back court, and it'll go to Minnesota. It's a great luxury if you're the #1 overall pick, the most celebrated college player, basically ever to come into the WNBA, Maya Moore, and know that you don't have to carry the load on your shoulders.
And it's a unique situation. Most of the time, those top picks are going to teams that earned their way into the lottery by not being very good. That wasn't the situation here in Minnesota.
Right? And next year, by the way, the draft is going to be expected to be something special. The top 2, 3, 4 picks.
Yeah, it's the top 3 in particular. When you look at Brittany Griner, Skylar Diggins, who's actually here watching this game, and Elena Deladon, all are franchise-type players.
Bonner foul to the free throw line goes to Wana.
And there's been some real bright spots for Phoenix here today. Right now, Corey Gaines obviously not happy with the score. They don't have Diana Taurasi for this game. They don't have Penny Taylor for the season. But Tawana Bonner has played really, really well. And Sharday Houston has played really well. And Samantha Prahalis has done pretty well for an opening game for a rookie. I mean, there are bright spots to a game where you didn't know exactly what was going to happen when you learned that Diana Taurasi wasn't going to play.
So the numbers on Bonner. Whalen just went to the bench. Don't know if she'll return. Lindsay just 1 of 3 in the first half with 3 points, but turned it on in the second half. 5 of 7 from the floor, 10 points. And has led the charge a couple of times when Phoenix has cut the lead. Dupree from Prahalis.
Great vision. Great vision by Samantha Prahalis, and a nice pass getting the ball inside.
Aaron Thorne, veteran, first-year player here, though. Minnesota now on the floor. Wiggins underneath.
You know, Candace Wiggins smiles so much, it almost evens out the fact that Lindsay Whalen doesn't smile at all.
She makes up for her?
Yeah, I think so. Like in the overall smile quotient for the Minnesota Lynx.
Even when things aren't going her way, even when she got the technical,
she smiled.
Yeah. Here's Thorne, 10th-year player out of BYU. Played with New York for 6 years, and then with the Sky for the last 3. And pops. Going to get in the box score right away. And they're 1 away from the century mark. Dupree hit in the lane by Peters. So a timeout with 2:41 left here in the opener for Minnesota and Phoenix. It's been all Lynx for much of the way. All right, guys, see you in a little bit. They're the numbers in the semifinal series. LeBron over 27 per game. D-Way, a little trouble on the sideline last game. And Ranger and West, double figures. And the Pacers, certainly without Bosch for the Heat, they've taken control. Big game 4 coming up in just a little bit on ABC. Terrific playoffs so far. It's fun to watch, huh? The shortened season. It's taking place out west as well. Oklahoma City and San Antonio, when a lot of people wrote them off. Too old. They got at least a run in them. No doubt about that. 99-81 at Minnesota with the lead here as Dupree shoots the second one.
Coming away from this game when Corey Gaines watches the film, I think they would like to see Candace Dupree get a little bit more involved. She hasn't touched the ball enough. I don't think she's taken enough shots, especially considering the players that they don't have on the floor, the scoring weapons that they don't have on the floor with Taurasi and Taylor.
Over and back. Goes back to Phoenix. Earlier today, we chatted with Corey Gaines and also with Diana Taurasi. Interviewed her, sat and talked, and as she was leaving, said, "Oh, by the way, I might not play today." What? Excuse me? And Corey hadn't mentioned it either, but out with a hip flexor.
We all thought she was kidding.
Well, thought it was a practical joke when she played under her teammates. By the way, 12,611 inside the Target Center today, making it, Rebecca, the largest crowd of the year. Houston. Nothing? Nothing?
The season's 2 days long.
Nothing?
It's the largest crowd of the year.
I packed those in for a while. Wiggins.
I thought you were going to give me the largest home opener crowd ever, which I assume it's got to be.
It is, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
But it's also the largest crowd of the year is what you're telling me.
Yeah, tough sidekick. Wright drops it to Adair off the glass and in, and they've gone over the 100-point mark. Not many weaknesses watching Minnesota today. I know it's the first game of the year. It takes a while to bring everything together, but they look finely tuned.
But a few things we saw in stretches that they need to work on, but they have to, Cheryl Reeve has to feel good about how her team adjusted. They started out turning the ball over. They got better at that. Then they were giving up the second chances and the offensive rebounds to Phoenix. She talked to them. They got better with that. She wasn't happy with their defense at one stage of the game, and then they got better at that. So she just needs them to be consistent throughout the game, but she's got all the pieces and players who know exactly what she wants from them.
A number of different weapons offensively that they can use on any given night. Augustus 9 of 16 out with that rib injury, but the double-figure scores.
Balance is not a bad word to describe this Minnesota team, and Wright, one of those players in double figures, and she comes in off the bench. Wiggins has done a really nice job again bringing energy and scoring off the bench.
And yet you have a superstar or two who you can give the ball to break down the defense when the shot clock running out. Adair finds it underneath, and it's a 20-point lead.
And the most important piece, I still think, is that you have the point guard, the veteran point guard in Lindsey Whalen that knows when and where to get those superstars the basketball.
Offensive foul on Houston gives it back to Minnesota. So that 56-26, the points in the paint. These were two of the better teams overall last year in terms of scoring in the paint. And that doesn't just mean post play. It also means fast break points, getting it up in easy layups. When Minnesota does that, dominates that much in the paint, forget it.
And from Phoenix, it mostly means out in transition or getting onto the offensive glass.
Houston's gone cold here in the fourth.
Safe to say, though, Sade Houston's made the most of her green light.
Devereaux Peters, the rookie, ahead of the pack. 106 is what they scored, their top number last year, and it was against Phoenix. Houston again with the miss. Well, you're right. I mean, that's one of the question marks. Sade Houston, those two, she and Alexis Hornbuckle, who came over from Minnesota to Phoenix as a part of that lineup this year. And Corey Gaines knows he's got another scorer.
Yeah, because you're not always certain how it's going to translate from training camp or how it's going to translate from your preseason game to the regular season. Well, based on this game, Sade Houston's scoring has translated pretty well.
Bench has been very good for Minnesota again today, as they were last year. They've got the deep numbers, that second unit coming in and really extending that lead in the second quarter. And that'll do it. The defending champs open up with a victory here in Game 1 of 2012. 105-83, and a number of different stars that you could point to. Simone Augustus leads the way with 19 in the game. Monica Wright with 15. Maya Moore also in double figures with 13 today. Brunson, 12 points, 9 rebounds in this effort, which every facet, I think you could say, Cheryl Reeve's club got what they wanted today in the opener.
Minnesota looked like a team that's coming off a championship, returning all their players. Not a bad start to the season for the Lynx.
And the hug for Cosmic Williams-Franklin as we send it over to Holly Rowe.
Well, Simone Augustus, what happened when you went flying into the crowd?
The fans decided to move out the way, and I hit the back of the chair and bruised my ribs a little bit, but I'm gonna be okay.
How nice is it for you guys to come out and have such a balanced scoring attack tonight?
It feels great to see everybody in the offensive flow, running the offense well, and getting out in transition, trying to get easy buckets.
Cheryl Reeves said she's lost a little sleep because she didn't feel like you guys had that championship, whatever it needed to be yet. How do you think you guys did today to show her that?
I think the last 2 or 3 days of practice was great for us because we got that momentum, and today just kind of set the tone for us for the rest of the season.
All right, thanks. Feel better.
Thank you.
All right, Holly, 105-83, the final. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, Kia NBA Countdown, followed by Game 4 of the conference semis between the Heat and the Pacers. For Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe, and our entire ABC crew, I'm Terry Gannon. So long from Minneapolis. Thanks for watching ABC, home of the NBA Finals.